And bonjour, this is Bruno LARVOL here, and you're listening to our weekly podcast, Building in Public. So we're sharing with you our journey of building our product, LARVOL CLIN. I'm here today with our head of customer success. Saadia, thank you very much for joining the podcast this week.
I'm really glad to be here today. Thanks, Bruno.
Saadia has a lot of experience working with us on CLIN and channeling a lot of feedback from our customers as she's interacting with a lot of users. And so it's an opportunity to talk broadly about CLIN. And we decided to talk today about the role of AI in CLIN and even more broadly, actually, in our work. So it's been a lot of investment at LARVOL, and also sometimes a lot of soul searching about what will be the role of AI, not just in 1 year, not just in 5 years, but let's say in 10 years. And I tell you, last night I was at an AI meetup, and it was partially sponsored by Tesla, so they had a Cybertruck outside. So I got to drive a Cybertruck. And I drove around the neighborhood in San Francisco in a Cybertruck and use a self-driving. And I find full self-driving to be amazing. AI is doing incredible things and has a huge impact. In a few years, no technology had such a quick impact on humanity, that AI, right? Since November 2022, ChatGPT 3.5, so many things have happened that change our perception of how we're dealing with technology. Many complete areas of work have been transformed, or in some cases, in some ways, eliminated. I mean, clearly, you don't need translators anymore. If you're trained as a translator, you don't have a job. There's nothing you can do to create value. Isn't it terrible? It's sad, right? It's an incredible statement. In a couple of years, there's no need for translators. None. There's no need for translators. In a couple of years, cab drivers in general, truck drivers, art. How quickly is it to create any art you want? So it's unsettling. It's unsettling. And of course, we are in the world of data at LARVOL. And so we're using AI every day in doing our work. And you in a second, you can tell us how you're using AI. And so what we wanted to talk with our audience today, and by the way, just interrupt us, ask questions, put comments, please. We always enjoy engagement with the audience. What we wanted to talk about today is the role of AI in a product like CLIN, how we're integrating it in many, many ways, and also more broadly, how AI we feel is changing our work day to day. So we can take any starting point you would like, Saadia, on this topic.
Yeah, I work quite a bit with conferences. So I think AI can really revolutionize conference planning and even engaging with DOLs and their opinions significantly. So in the conferences tab, for example, where I'm hoping that, where I see CLIN going with AI, further AI introduction into the platform is just making it easier for our end users to find exactly what they're looking for with minimal effort. So whether we introduce some kind of an AI feature that allows them to search across multiple conferences to look for exactly what they're looking for, whether it's a specific author that is presenting, whether it's a specific competitor they're curious about, just to make it as easy as possible to find as much information on that conference relating to their focus. I think that is where AI can take us, is to essentially make it as easy as snapping your finger and you're getting analysis in front of you. You put in one word and then AI picks up on exactly what you're looking for. I think that's where AI is going. It's changed how we do work immensely. I think in almost every field, we're finding AI doing things, something that used to take hours to do only takes seconds now. Research, for example, on a topic, let's do a topic on a specific, for example, yeah, this is great, a specific trial. So the Pro 2, if you click on that, it will take you to all the details that you need to know about that trial in one place, which is crazy. Before, this was manually done. So to have this done already with this level of AI, I cannot wait to see where we can go further. Where now, within a matter of seconds, you have complete comparisons between two trials. Within a matter of seconds, you have AI also creating predictive analyses, for example. That would be really interesting to see because the possibilities are endless. Any thoughts about that, Bruno?
Um, you know that I like extreme thought experiments. And I like to say, okay, so what do we know for sure in 10 years? For example, do we think people will use search, Google, in 10 years, or will they ask a question like we ask ChatGPT or Perplexity, and then the AI will answer the question and then give sources? Do we think we'll use UI, user interface, or will we interact conversationally with any application? Nobody would, right? So I would argue that in 10 years, nobody searches anything. AI searches for us.
Yeah.
We ask a question, we have an objective in mind, we ask a question, AI searches, gives the answer, give one answer, multiple answer, gives the sources. Maybe from time to time, we look at the sources. It's like from time to time, you go to the third page of Google, but nearly never, right? So I think search is going to be dead, no search. I also think that AI is going to be dead. UI, so not AI. AI is going to be very much alive. UI is going to be dead. So in other words, if you look at the way we interact with Clin right now, you ask a question. You say, okay, I want to look at the conference ASCO 2024, and I want to look at all of the abstracts about that topic. And I go through a menu, a UI menu. I think nobody will do that in 10 years. Maybe in 2, maybe in 5, but in 10 years, nobody would do that. We would say it. We would say, I want to see the PARP inhibitor most impactful abstracts at ASCO 24 with, I don't know, phase 4 or phase 3 clinical trial data disclosed at ASCO 24. And then it would show you the list, create a bar graph, create a pie chart. I would say, I want a horizontal bar graph with the color of my company, right? I want a longitudinal graph of how data about PARP inhibitor evolved over the last 3 years. Conversational. In my view of the future, in 10 years, there'll be no UI. No UI. You do nothing with UI. It's be dead. Nobody would do that, right? And so that's incredible because we want to talk the language of humans. The machine is supposed to understand us. We don't have to adjust the machine language by using a UI. So to me, that's the direction we should go with Clin, which is full conversational interface.
That's a really interesting. I've never thought about it that way. I've always thought there to be. I think because that's how we are conditioned right now. We're so used to user interfaces. We're so used to seeing things happening in front of us. Even the data extraction, for example, even in ChatGPT, it's live. Like you can see it happening, populating in front of you. That's a really interesting concept. I personally think it's going to take longer than that. I think it's going to take some time. I think there will be challenges along the way related to ethical and privacy considerations of AI. I think as AI gets more advanced, I do believe that I wouldn't be surprised if governments start putting into place to essentially limit how we use AI, who uses AI, what it is used for. Because with everything good that is created, not everyone uses it for good purposes. So I think right now it's so new and it's progressing and growing so quickly. But I do believe that governments will eventually step in and see where the use of AI will go, whether it will be in the hands of what limited capacity will a user such as myself in the general public have of AI. I do believe that people in more impactful positions may have larger access to AI in the future versus just the general public. And I think that's the case right now. But it will be really interesting to see how far this goes in terms of what the general public can use, what companies can do with AI. And I do know there are already a lot of conversations happening in the government about AI and its uses and the threat of AI as well. I live in Canada, which is quite different than the States. So, and that will also be a factor. What do different borders define as, you know, can they have this in that country? Every country will have their own laws. I think that will come into effect sooner than maybe getting rid of UI or other aspects of AI. I think within 10 years, there will be a definition of what is safe versus what is unsafe.
That's a fascinating and complex topic that people, of course, have been debating a lot, which is, should we regulate AI, and even more importantly, how?
Yeah.
How can we regulate AI? Because it's like regulating the internet, like regulating computers. It's like, I mean, it's a regulating intelligence. Oh, you're not allowed to have a certain type of intelligence. You're not allowed to access certain type of data. You're not allowed to think a certain way. AI is intelligence. It's just not our intelligence, right? But it's controlled by the user to a degree. It's accessing certain type of intelligence. So it's a sci-fi. We live in a sci-fi movie. Every day is a new episode, and it's incredible. We
You know,
right
when,
now, yes. Go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry, you know, when you said it's not like our data, it is our data. This is everything that
Yes,
AI is using. It has been created by the minds of a
yes,
human. This data,
yes.
these trials, these medications, these assets that these trials are tracking, um, it's just gathering it, it's summarizing it, it's analyzing it for now. But yes, in the future, is it possible for AI to create its own data? 100%, where it can predict exactly where a trial is heading, where it can predict exactly whether this trial will fail, whether it's gonna this asset will get marketed, um, even up to side effects. I think that is possible with AI. Right now, maybe not, but soon, yes. Right now, AI is learning what the world has created in terms of data since we've existed. That's what AI is doing right now. It's going to eventually, it already is quite smarter than a lot of us, but it's going to get very, very intelligent.
It's actually a nice segue to the last segment of our call. We only have a couple of minutes left, which is um, the role of Larvol, the role of Larvol Clin in that movie, in that sci-fi movie. And you made a few points that are very relevant here. First, AI already has read everything publicly available. So that's called the data wall, right? The models are hitting a data wall. There's no more data. They read the whole internet, the whole
Yeah.
public internet. They ingested, right? So what else is there to do? Well, there are three things left to do precisely. First, there's accessing private data set that are not accessible online. For example, curated patient data, proprietary database of genomic data, or clinical results that are not public. So in our field of cancer data, that's one, private data. Second, LARVOL CLIN itself as a ground truth database is very valuable for a model because the model reads the whole internet. So a lot of false data, old data, obsolete data, things we thought were true but not true. It's not easy at all for the AI to know what is true today, right? Because science evolves every day. There's a lot of opinion that are just opinions, and then there's facts. So ground truth, curated, verified, accurate, exhaustive, up-to-date ground truth. That's LARVOL CLIN. So in other words, AI needs clean, like clean needs AI. That's number two. Number three, synthetic data. Synthetic data. So when you run out of actual data, there's still the possibility of creating new synthetic data. And actually, some of our efforts around the pseudo IPD, pseudo individual patient data, and also network meta analysis, two different approaches. The kind of data we create is derived from existing data. Now, I'm always cautious about synthetic data because I say, well, synthetic data do not add any new information to the system. The data was already there somewhere, yes, but still, it's still different because the synthetic data has certain properties that makes it easier for an AI to use, to recycle, solve some privacy issues, generalize the data, helps different type of training. So these are the three things we can do in our opinion, right? Private data, hyper curated ground truth data, and then synthetic data. So in any world of the future, that's a type of impact we can have. So we got to wrap it up. Saadia, thank you very, very much for joining our
Thanks,
podcast today.
Bruno. Thank you so much. Great conversation.
Thank you.